I love this island. I love the native. I love the local people. I love the vibe.
I'm really looking forward to the race. We start off in warm waters. We get to make a lap, but then we actually shoot under a bridge.
Just let it happen, and then when you're up on the hill, then you can see that you all take them back.
As a competitor, I would just describe myself as very gritty, and I try to stay very positive.
The athletes tell it like it is. Today we're proud to present the IRONMAN 70.3 Puerto Rico. All the elements of a great race are present. An incredible course, a field of top professional triathletes, and a destination like no other on the Ironman circuit. Hello everybody, I'm Paul Higgins and welcome to the IRONMAN 70.3 Puerto Rico. This is a fantastic destination race, and this year, no exception on the great athletes that have come to Puerto Rico. On the women's side, who knows who will win the pro division, because we have 3 defending champions. Will it be a new one? We know the fact for the men that we will have a new men's champion. All the action starts right now. Each and every athlete has expectations of what they want to achieve in this race. This is the start to a new triathlon season. Call it a new slate. Months of training, both physically and mentally, have been poured into a new season of competition. There's a sense of optimism. It's time to reap the rewards of all the hard work. With the historic backdrop, the stage is set. This is the IRONMAN 70.3 Puerto Rico, and all the action starts right now. Competitors from all over the world have come to Puerto Rico for what feels like a vacation, not a world-class race. It's easy to get caught up in the moment, the Puerto Rican way of life, beautiful beaches, incredible golf courses, great salsa music. You name it, Puerto Rico has it. And on this weekend, every spring in the Caribbean, Puerto Rico hosts the Ironmen, the athletes and their families. Each and every year, the competitors are treated to the Athlete Expo. This takes place the day before the race and offers up an exciting look to all the new products and innovations that hit the market on an annual basis. This is a great opportunity to spend some of that milk money that you have stashed away. If you want to take the extra step, buy everything new and hit the road. This is an exciting time. Professionals and age groupers have come to Puerto Rico to compete. Days, weeks, and months have been logged in preparation. Now, just minutes are between the competitors and the start of the race. The professional men are set for the start of the 1.2-mile swim in the Condado Lagoon. The athletes will soon be shoulder to shoulder, angling for an edge in the fast waters. The swim will be intense and will set the tempo for the race.
As I swim through the buoys, I try to restart my effort and restart my tempo each time. And great backdrop. Couldn't be more excited for it.
With that, the IRONMAN 70.3 Puerto Rico is underway with the professional men's division. Excellent swimmers in this field of men as they jockey for position in the warm and what was calm waters of the Condado Lagoon. As they get into stride, the pro women are anxious and anticipate the start of their race. For Hella Fredrickson, she has won this race previously, but that was then. The field is once again very competitive.
I'm sure that my competitors are bringing out the best in me always. I always want to show up and be the best side of my version of myself that I can be, but certainly I do have my own expectations, and I always know if I've trained well and if I've prepared well, I can expect a good race for myself. But I always like to kind of adapt to what's happening on the race course and how the other athletes are pushing me out there. So I'll say it's a good combination of everything there.
The challenge is there for Hella, as this field of women are as strong as any field we have seen in Puerto Rico. 5 minutes after the start of the men, the women are underway. Yes, both the women and men are in full stride in the first leg of this race. And again, that is the 1.2-mile swim. The real star of this race is the course itself. Since the first Ironman here in Puerto Rico, the course has changed very little. We discuss this aspect with race and course director Arturo Diaz. Arturo, pretty tough place to do an interview, huh?
Yeah, no, I mean, look at the background.
And in the background is the finish line. And if you survive, you finished an Ironman 70.3 in Puerto Rico. The course, as we kind of talked about during the show, doesn't change a lot, but that presents a huge advantage to the athletes that have been here before. Your thoughts, we had talked about this a couple of years back, it doesn't change a lot. Why?
Well, I mean, that's the beauty about the race, the repeat customers. The people that keep coming every year. We have people who've been here for 7 years because every year is a different challenge, either on the swim, the bike, or the run. I mean, it's not the easiest course, but at the same time, it's the most rewarding and the most beautiful course.
When you design the course and the hilly run, because I always have to talk about the hilly run because it is the deciding factor. You've got some steep hills, and I talk to some athletes say, you know, sometimes it's better almost to walk up those hills to keep your heart rate down. Is that kind of things you keep in mind when you design a course?
Not really. I mean, to be honest with you, we were just looking to have the most easy to manage course on the run from a logistics standpoint.
Yeah.
However, it just turned out to be one of the most challenging and most beautiful because you go through all those colonial streets and forts and everything in National Park Service, so it's amazing.
What is your favorite aspect of the course? Because you've run the course, you've done it.
Well, I like the bike. However, I have to defer to the run just because it doesn't matter if you run it in the morning or the late afternoon, just that point where you're reaching the top by the old San Juan and you see the fort in the background, the ocean, it's just majestic.
Your thoughts about the people of San Juan and Puerto Rico. You have a special relationship with the tourism board and their energy, and that relates to the race. But when racers are on the course, there's a tremendous amount of enthusiasm, which you don't get in other places of the world.
Yeah, I mean, the Puerto Rico tourism has been with us since day one, and this is one of their big five. In Puerto Rico, there's X amount of events, but they have labeled this one as a big five, meaning that it's one of the events that really markets the destination all over the world, and it highlights a sports tourism initiative, which is a big foundation of their program.
Last question for you, and I always wonder about this. Will you change the course in the future at all? And if you did make any changes for the racers out there listening, what would that be?
The only change we've made one year was on the bike course, and what we did is change the turnarounds because there was another activity going on. But really, the change was not dramatic. It was still the same course, it's just the turnaround was a different point. We would love to keep it as is. Been like this for 7 years, and this is what draws championships to come here, like the Pan American Tri Club Championship, to us to be a host for those kind of ancillary events, part of our event.
I lied. One additional question. If you're going to give advice to an athlete that's never performed in a race, never competed in a race like this here in Puerto Rico, what couple tips can you give them to get them ready to come here?
Well, the main thing is if you live in the north, make sure that you get acclimated some way or some fashion. I know athletes that turn the heat on and get on the treadmill or the trainer and just try to simulate the conditions. The thing is that you can practice all you want, but when you finally feel the humidity and the heat, it's a different story.
The men exit the 1.2-mile swim race. Ben Canute leads the charge with a swim time of 23:34. Andy Potts, as expected, is already making this a race with a time of 23:48, while Leonardo Giacone is only 4 seconds behind. What awaits these competitors is the first transition area, where it's the calm before the storm. On hand, hundreds and hundreds of bikes. For the moment, they're all strategically still. Depending on one's budget, this canvas of titanium, aluminum, and carbon will soon be a sea of competitors, flocking to their bikes and the next phase of the race. It's a close race into the swim to bike transition for the men. Ben Canute has the slight advantage, with the pack consisting of Leonardo Giacone, Andy Potts, and going out in the fourth position is Canadian Taylor Reed. While the men hit the road, the ladies are about to do the same. Hella Fredrickson exits the water in fine fashion, up the stairs, leaving behind the 1.2-mile swim. Heather Lenway is on her heels, and Alicia Kay fills in the third spot, looking very strong. Out on the streets of Puerto Rico, Ben Canute maintains a slight lead. He hopes to take advantage of the solid swim he had in the Condado Lagoon. Carlos Javier Quinchera Ferrero has moved into second place, and Andy Potts passes Leonardo Giacone to take over third. An exciting swim to bike transition for the women, as Hella Fredrickson entered first, but Alicia Kay has now closed the gap. Fredrickson and Kay work methodically to get out of the transition area first. Kay gets the edge, exiting the transition about 10 seconds ahead of Fredrickson. The Ironman 70.3 Puerto Rico is well underway as the men's and women's leaders start to settle into a groove. There's no doubt that no lead is safe and it's certain to change. Or is it? Find out as we return to San Juan. You're watching the Ironman 70.3 Puerto Rico.
The Ironman 70.3 Puerto Rico, brought to you by BN Sports, is presented by the Puerto Rico Tourism Company, by Gatorade, the sports fuel company, by Target Rent-A-Car, and by El Nuevo Dia.
Baseball night in Puerto Rico, the true spirit of the country and the community of Puerto Rico are very passionate. They embrace everything that is positive, and that was the case when we visited downtown San Juan and La Placita Plaza for the World Baseball Championship as Puerto Rico took on the U.S. in the championship final. Thousands stood, cheered, and demonstrated the spirit of Puerto Rico. As mentioned, the Ironman 70.3 Puerto Rico is a destination location for all competitors and their families. There is so much to do, and that includes excellent opportunities to golf at some of the best courses in the Caribbean, such as the Royal Isabella. Before and after the Ironman, competitors and their families often like to explore more of what Puerto Rico has to offer. And for those who like to surf and golf, we certainly found a gem of a golf resort in the northwest corner of the island, with that being the Royal Isabella. A beautiful course perched on a bluff overlooking the North Atlantic. It is a perfect getaway for the traveler looking for a piece of their own paradise. Just ask Samuel Golden, the teaching golf professional who spends a lot of time teaching and playing the Royal Isabella Golf Course.
I was kind of at a point in my life that I didn't really know what I wanted to do next. I stopped competing full time, and I was just talking to Charles about where I was going to end up, and he mentioned that there was a house, like, you know, right on property here that it was just had become vacated, you know, and it was available for sale. And I was like, you know what, you know, why not? And so I literally like sold my car on Craigslist, grabbed my golf bag, my backpack, and my duffel bag with, you know, 10 changes of clothes, and just hopped the plane and flew down here. I think probably the coolest thing about the course, I mean, Puerto Rico's a really neat place anyway. I really love the feel here, the vibe here, but where the golf course is located on the island is really special. We're up on this cliff on the far northwest side of the island, and the people here are really nice. And then just the scene here is different from anywhere else in Puerto Rico. And probably my favorite thing about the golf course is that the owners and the guys who designed this place really tried to leave it as undisturbed as possible. They tried to look for golf holes in the property rather than, you know, moving dirt and building golf holes. So there are some really interesting features on the course, like the logo, the Royal Isabella logo is actually a tree. It's almost in the middle of 18 fairway, which is, you know, you could probably complain about that a little bit, but it kind of shows, part of that idea of leaving nature and kind of letting nature be at the forefront here on the golf course.
And as mentioned, the Royal Isabella offers up some excellent surfing to go along with the incredible golfing. Surfers enjoy one of the ideal locations on the island. The Royal Isabella is high on my list of destinations when I visit Puerto Rico. Well, back to racing. Ben Canute is maintaining his lead, while Carlos Javier Quinchara Ferrero is in second. And keeping the race very interesting is Andy Potts, as he makes the pass from 4th to 3rd place. Prior to race day, I asked Andy about racing on a course that he has never competed on. Does he conduct his own course site survey?
You know, it's good to familiarize yourself with the course map and the general layout, overall topography. But as far as, actually riding the course and running the course, there are just too many turns and too many hang-ups for me to do it before the race starts. So I kind of count on the race organizers to really make it painfully obvious before the race starts and then during the race.
Andy Potts is looking comfortable, and no doubt he is starting to settle in and can make his move at any time. Without a doubt, no lead is safe as the top 4 men jockey for position, playing a game of cat and mouse. The ladies have a slightly different race that is unfolding. Alicia Kay has established the lead, but at the moment, 2-time champ Helle Fredriksson is in 2nd place. Helle is not only a world-class athlete, but she also holds a master's degree in nutrition. On the course and in this grueling sport, that can certainly be an advantage.
I'll start to focus a lot of getting my fluid and my salts and electrolytes around 3 days out from the race. I don't really drink any normal, just pure water. I always add in some electrolytes, some salt. I add more salt to the food. So really think about it like about 72 hours before the race.
It's not if, but when the factor and element of nutrition plays a part in this very warm race that can suck the energy right out of you. As for right now, we have an exciting race taking place with both the men and women. Andy Potts has made his move and is now in 2nd place, following our current leader, Ben Canute. By the looks of it, this race is far from being decided, with the most difficult stage still to come. For the women, Alicia Kay has opened up a sizable lead on the rest of the field of women. Is she pushing too hard, or is she merely in stride? Time will deliver the answer, as the torturous run still awaits. You're watching the IRONMAN 70.3 Puerto Rico, a destination that delivers on and off the course. Welcome you back to Puerto Rico, as the second stage of the IRONMAN 70.3 Puerto Rico is proving to be one of the most competitive in race history. Ben Canute has been looking over his shoulder, and for good reason, as the pressure is building from the likes of Andy Potts and Taylor Reed. Transitioning to the women's pro race, it certainly is taking on a different look than the men's race. Alicia Kay maintains her lead with 2-time champion Helle Fredriksson in 2nd place. There's a gap after that as the field of women are spread out. If you get the opportunity to speak to Helle in person, you'll notice right away that she has a very friendly persona, and that reflects her love for Puerto Rico and this race.
I love this island. I love the native. I love the local people. I love the vibe. There's just something about this Latin American place that just has a special place in my heart. It might sound very cliche, but it is not. This was my first non-draft half Ironman race, first race on a time trial bike ever in 2013. And the last 2 years I just haven't been able to come back to the island, so being back now, it's wonderful.
For Helle to win her third title, she will have to overtake the current leader, and that is again Alicia Kay. Alicia has settled into a nice pace as the final transition is approaching. The men are certainly shaking things up. Andy Potts took over the lead for a hot second or two before, out of nowhere, Taylor Reed moved into second place. Not only does Taylor Reed move into second, he slingshots himself past Andy Potts to take over the lead. It gets better as Aussie Paul Ambrose found himself now in second, with the front runners approaching the bike to run transition. All of this setting up an extraordinary Stage 3, and that of a 13.1 mile run. Alicia Kay has opened up her lead on the bike as she again appears to be quite comfortable in the streets of Puerto Rico. Helle is pushing hard, but the gap between first and second is expanding. It's quite a race happening with the men as they enter the final transition, the bike to run. Paul Ambrose, Ben Canute, and Taylor Reed all come in at virtually the same time. The transition is a critical and technical aspect of the race. Taylor Reed is the first out of the transition as he enters the hot and historic streets of San Juan, Puerto Rico. Alicia Kay, representing USA, glides into the bike to run transition all by herself with a sizable lead. Alicia has set herself up for a good run. Will she maintain the lead? That is up to Helle Fredrickson. As for now, she is all by herself in second place entering the transition. Helle has some ground to make up, but if anyone can catch Alicia Kay, it's the two-time champ. Without question, the deciding factor comes down to Stage 3 of this race, and that is the run. While it's beautiful and historic, it's also grueling, testing both the physical and mental toughness of even the most conditioned athletes in the world. The IRONMAN 70.3 Puerto Rico is celebrating its 5th year. Earlier, I introduced you to Arturo Diaz, one of the partners in making this race happen. The other half of the equation is Alejandro Vasquez. Both men have their specific tasks in running a huge race like this, and what they're doing keeps getting better. Alejandro, there is a special relationship that this race has with Puerto Rico, and it's just not the course. Tell me about that.
Well, it's not only the course, it's the destination.
Right.
As you can see, for the last couple of years, we've organized a great event at a great destination, and that's what has made a big difference between other races in the circuit. In my opinion, that's one. Second one, I would say, is the people, the volunteers, the crowds. They're all very supportive, and we get that every year from all the athletes, from the emails and the calls right after the race. They just come back year and year just to experience that.
It seems like every single professional athlete and every athlete that I run to here always talks about the people, and they say if they're hurting on the course, they just hear the people on the course, and it's like no other place is the energy.
It makes a huge difference on the athletes. Right at that moment that your brain is thinking, like, for every minute that you want to quit and you want to quit, then you hear those voices from the crowd and the volunteers saying, "You can do it, you can do it." It's hard to describe, but it's something that gives them an extra breath of strength, and they just finish. Yeah.
As an event organizer, director, creator, I mean, you guys do it all, you and Arturo. When I was just walking with you, people know who you are and they appreciate what you do. How does that make you feel when these athletes do that, these competitors?
Oh, it feels great. You know, it's who doesn't like to be recognized for all that effort?
Yeah.
Makes you feel that it's worthwhile, all this effort to put one of these events. It's always good to hear that Sunday after those people cross the finish line saying, "Hey, you know, great race." It makes it all worthwhile for sure.
What is the future of this race and what you want to do? I know that, as you mentioned, there's challenges, but every year you guys seem to be able to overcome those obstacles. The course hasn't changed, but the race keeps getting better. What's the goal now?
Well, the goal is, there's always room for improvement. Every year we try to work on every single detail. We're very meticulous.
Yeah.
We might think, or the participants might think that it's a perfect venue, but we always find what things we could fix and make it better. So there's always room for improvement.
The pro men have quite the race taking place. The top three are only separated by seconds. For the ladies, Alicia Kay once again has hit her stride as she maintains the lead. When we come back, we'll see who can rise to the occasion in one of the best destination races in the world. This is one event you have to attend. Puerto Rico makes it very easy for all citizens of the U.S.
Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory, so no passport required. We're about 3 hours away from the East Coast, the mainland of the United States. So get on a plane, come to Puerto Rico, check it out. It's the best fun you can have, and we have a little bit of everything except winter sports.
The IRONMAN 70.3 Puerto Rico, brought to you by BN Sports, is presented by the Puerto Rico Tourism Company, by Doctors Hospital, Hospital Familiar, by Aleve, by Insure, and by San Juan, Ciudad de Toros.
Welcome back to San Juan, the destination location for the IRONMAN 70.3 Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is without a doubt a tropical paradise, complete with unmistakable rich history that is still evident and embraced in the city of San Juan. Puerto Rico is known around the world for its heritage, friendly people, traditional cuisine, its tropical climate with incredible beaches, the diverse natural scenery that includes lavish rainforests and thrilling views from the longest zip line in the world. This is why this destination race is so popular with the competitors. Not all will say that Stage 3 of the Ironman is enjoyable. That certainly is debatable as the competitors weave their way through Old San Juan in what is the most challenging element of the race. At this stage of the day, the competitors have swam 1.2 miles in the Condado Lagoon, followed by a 56-mile bike over the northern part of the island to Dorado that consists of challenging crosswinds near the Atlantic Ocean. The two-loop 13-mile run is the final stage and most difficult. To reset the action for the professional men, Taylor Reed leads the men with a strong and consistent pace, as Ben Canute is just steps away, putting on the pressure. These two are neck and neck as they run through the streets of San Juan. Alicia Kay has taken the drama out of what might have been a tight race. In an extraordinary effort, Alicia not only maintains her lead, but increases upon it. Hella Fredrickson is running a good race in second, but there is no guarantee it will stay that way. That is because Canadian Stephanie Roy is putting on the pressure and closing the gap between her and Hella. All in all, the women are putting on a great show. Andy Potts has moved into second place, a great effort for this outstanding athlete in his first attempt here in Puerto Rico. With the finish line less than a mile away, this race belongs to Canadian Taylor Reid. He will hold off a competitive pro men's field to win the race that was filled with excellent competition. Taylor, in his last stretch to the finish line, is enjoying the moment, and he should, finishing in a time of 3:49.50. Congratulations to Taylor Reid on winning the Ironman 70.3 Puerto Rico. What started out in the calm waters of the Condado Lagoon then took to the scenic 56-mile bike leg, finally concluding through the streets of Old San Juan. A great race orchestrated by Taylor Reid. Taylor, I don't know what it is about this race, but it seems like a lot of guys that race it for the first time win it. You're no exception.
Yeah, that was like, I think it's just we're not afraid. Like, I biked as hard as I could. I caught the group. I didn't sit in. I just went to the front. And then I came off. Like, sadly, Andy had a fall on the dismount, but I knew it was going to be slippery, so I took it really easy. I had water waiting in the transition, just soaked myself, and just went for it. Like, running some like parts at like 3:15, 3:20, and then some parts at like 4 minutes up the hills. But just like mentally, I was like, it's 20 degrees out, 20 degrees Celsius. Like, it is not hot.
Taylor, you sounded like you had a lot of fun in this race.
Yes, like it's fun, but it's really hard. Like, I love what I do. Like, I'm a professional athlete. What else can I ask for? I won my opening race. Like, this is the first one of the year. I had like a bit of a difficult year last year with a couple of crashes, so this is just amazing.
Finishing the race in second place with a time of 3:51.22 was Andy Potts. He applied consistent pressure throughout the event, enjoying the lead from time to time. Congratulations to Andy. And in third was Ben Canute. He had a dominant race early on, eventually giving up the lead to complete the race in 3:51.32, 10 seconds behind Andy. For the ladies, Alicia Kay would get plenty of pressure in the last several miles of the run, as Stephanie Roy closed the gap, taking over Hella Fredrickson in second place, and trailing Alicia by roughly 30 seconds. With that said, that 30-second lead would be all the pad that Alicia Kay would need, as she pushed hard to finish with great pride, completing her journey in a time of 4:18.04. An outstanding performance by Alicia Kay, as she was in a tight race in the swim, shoulder to shoulder with Hella Fredrickson and Heather Lenway. Alicia set the stage, being the first out of the transition. From that point on, she owned the lead, on the bike and then to the run. An impressive win in Puerto Rico. Alicia, I'm not sure what it is about first-time athletes that come here for the very first time and they win it. You did it today.
Yeah, that was so hard. I went into this with the mentality that this was gonna feel like Kona, but you know, half the length, and it really did. It hurt so bad. But what got me through were the amazing crowds and, interestingly, the amazing scenery. Like, I really tried to absorb where we were having the opportunity to race today, particularly on the run. We're so lucky that that's our run course. And it was beautiful. So I really tried to absorb all of that.
Stephanie Roy would hold tight and lock down second place, and for two-time champ Hella Fredrickson, she finished in third. It was another great race for the pro women, and for that matter, all that came to Puerto Rico. Without a doubt, this race would not be the same without the hundreds and hundreds of age groupers that come to Puerto Rico each year to participate. If you have the desire to enter, sign up now to reserve your spot at the next Ironman 70.3 Puerto Rico. It's an experience that will change your life for the better. So once again, we have two new champions at the Ironman 70.3 Puerto Rico. For the men, Taylor Reid, and for the women, Alicia Kay. But nobody loses when they come to Puerto Rico. It's a fantastic destination race. Congratulations goes out to all the finishers and everyone that competed. You guys are winners. Until next year, we can hardly wait. I'm Paul Higgins, saying so long from Puerto Rico.